Welcome to Module 3, the strategy. So you've worked on setting up your environment, you're starting to establish routines, and you've done all this good work, and now you're like, okay, well, what happens when you've done all this and they still don't engage, right? Like, what are the strategies that are gonna get us where our hopes and our dreams are? You know, to have a home that really loves and values reading and engages in it. I have got a lot of strategies, and I'm going to try and keep this video very focused. And the way that I've done that is I've come up with a little acronym that will hopefully help us remember the strategies that will keep our kids engaged. And the acronym is really easy. It's E.A.R, right? We want our kids to have a beautiful ear for reading and listening. The first one is to engage. We want to engage our children in books. Okay, so for littles, this might mean touch and feel books, things with lifty flaps and furry bits or textured things, anything that they can touch and feel. We want to let them hold books. That's why board books or cloth books are so good for little ones. Let them kiss it, let them bite it, let them touch it. We want them to be engaged with it. As they get older, we want to engage them in different ways. So we might have more search and find or illustrators that are really engaging. There's lots to look for, like Jen Brett. She's one of our favorite illustrators because her books are just so engaging. So we really want to engage our children, find things that will get them looking at those books. So the first strategy is to find ways to engage. The second one in our acronym E.A.R is to attract. Attract is a little bit different than engage because it's what draws us to the books. So this is really finding topics and types of literature that are attractive to your child, right? Do they like fiction or nonfiction? Do they like princesses? Do they like dinosaurs? Do they like graphic novels or picture books? Do they like regular novels and you just reading to them? We want to attract them. We want to get books that will get their attention and have them have that feeling of wanting to read, right? And it doesn't mean that if your child likes fiction, nonfiction, all you do is read nonfiction. It means that you get a lot of nonfiction because that's what they're interested in, and you get one or two really great fiction books, and you throw them in your reading cycle, in your reading habits, and your routines, and continue to introduce them to more, because the more they're exposed to and introduced to, the more they're going to engage, right? And be attracted to different things. But you're always finding those things that they're interested in. Is it humor? Tacky the Penguin is great for humor. There's great books for riddles and jokes and rhymes and poetry. Find those things that are going to attract your child to books and borrow or buy those things. So we've got E.A.R, engage, attract. Now we need to retain their attention. We need to keep them coming back. We want our kiddos to have an emotional feeling when it comes to reading books, and we want that emotional feeling to be a positive one, whether it's joy, excitement, anticipation. So having those routines creates a consistency, and that consistency is going to help with retention because they get to know that certain times of the day they're going to have that feeling of connecting with you. You're going to read books together. You're going to talk about whether you liked it or you didn't like it, how it made you feel, what you thought about the illustrator. You're going to engage with the book. You're going to point to pictures. You're going to talk about words. You're going to wonder about things. You're going to ask more questions. But all of that consistency, consistently showing up, even on the days where you get one page read, consider it a success. It's okay if that's all you read that day is one page. That's a success. If you pick up the book and look at a bunch of titles, success. If you read an author and a title, success. If you read a whole book, success. If you read 10, success. Anytime you've got your littles with you and books in hands, it's a success. It's a step towards having that consistent culture in your home that loves and values reading. There's a strategy that is so simple right from the get-go that I want to challenge you to begin from this moment, whether if you've done it before or not. This is the one thing. I want you to start practicing reading the title, the author, and the illustrator for every book you read. And the reason why that's one of my number one strategies, even if you're reading to an infant, is because it begins to, you and your children will begin to familiarize yourself with authors and illustrators that you love. And you'll begin making connections. Hey, this book looks like that book. Is it the same illustrator? It is. Okay, so we know we really like books illustrated by this particular person. So now you're not just looking for authors, but you're looking for illustrators. And it's such a great way for you to all expand your knowledge and your connection to the books you like and towards each other, because having those moments of like, this is another Robert Munsch book. We know, we love Robert Munsch. He always makes us laugh, right? Reading the author, the illustrator, and the title is a great way to connect with your books and with your children and to future books that you're going to read. The workbook today goes into a lot more detail on these particular strategies: engage, attract, and retain. And I give my top 10 strategies, specific strategies for each one of these kind of broader strategies. There's some bonuses in the workbook too. You've got reading trackers with rewards, and I've got a beginning book list separated into 3 different age categories. I think it's birth to 2, 3 to 5, and 6 and up. Some authors that we really, really love. So make sure to download the workbook, get into some of that extra material there. And remember, this is all about the long game. Do not get discouraged if things don't work out exactly the way you want them every day. It's about consistently showing up and reading with your children in whatever way works for you. And in time, you will reap an amazing harvest of a family and a home that loves and values reading for generations to come. Because I believe if you pass this to your children, inevitably they will pass it to theirs, because they are going to be so excited about sharing the books you shared with them to their little ones. So get into the workbook and enjoy reading.